So it's important for the buyers and sellers to make sure that they are prepared and have their ducks in a row. And even more important, that they are working with a knowledgeable and trusted real estate agent on their side.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Napick and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Napick.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, and I'm your host, Bill Napick. I would like to remind you as we start that you can hear and see past shows. That's right. We make a video of each show so you can see it at stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. You can see and hear the guests. In addition, you'll see the complete roster of all the guests that we've had. This is show 372. And if you're a regular listener, thank you for joining us once again. If you're a new listener, boy, what a show that you are tuning in on. This is a tremendous show. We always have great guests, but as it turns out today, if I were to name this show, I would call it Top Guns, because we have top people in their profession on this show today. To give you an idea, we have the new president of Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty, Robin Connor. Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty is one of the biggest brokerages here in Houston and known all around the world. We're also going to talk to Ron Holley, a developer doing tremendous work in Kingwood, Texas, and other points north in Texas. In addition, Wyoming, Hawaii. He has a country club and golf course in Pennsylvania. So many things. In addition to that, even, we have a gifted musician, a performer right here in Houston. He is a master at the piano and an entrepreneur. His name is Alex Navarro. And as the events are opening up here in Houston, he's the man that will help you design an event, small or large. So you'll hear from Alex. He is a very notable performer here in Houston, and also a big player on the East and West Coast scene with performance credits like Rod Stewart, Carly Simon, and so many more. It's about time to get down to business as Real Estate Matters begins right now as we talk to Robin Connor with Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty. Robin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. So good to be here again.
And most of all, congratulations on your new position, being the president of Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty. It must be awesome.
Yes, we are very excited. Marilyn Thompson, who was our longtime leader for 30 years, just recently retired in March, and I am honored and excited to accept this position as president. And we have an incredible company, the agents, the staff, the assistants. I have great passion for all of them, and we're very excited about the future.
And I hope Marilyn's listening because she has been on the show too. She is awesome. So Marilyn, have a great retirement and whatever you're going to do next. And Robin, boy, what an exciting adventure you have ahead at Martha Turner's. So let's tell people about Sotheby's and Martha Turner's, what's going on as far as your vision as you see it here in the early weeks of your presidency.
Absolutely. So I've been with the company since 2004. And I think through my roles and functions and a variety of responsibilities, it's really allowed me to build my credibility and my expertise, to really harness the power of others. And that's what's so important to me, so that I can help them grow into the best version of themselves, and we can continue to elevate this company and build on its reputation and continued success.
And Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty has been so important in the history of Houston and buying and selling the homes. But as you made the Sotheby's connection many years ago, you are connected to the world in a way that is just incredible. Let's tell people how that connection works here in Houston and worldwide with all the people that are coming to Houston.
Absolutely. So Martha Turner Property started in 1981. And Martha has built a platform that really allows the agents to stay out in the field and work remotely from wherever they are. And in 2014, in January of 2014, is when she decided to sell to Sotheby's International Realty. And what that took was a local brand and just gave it the national and international exposure it needed. Our buyers are coming from all over the world. HAR even tells us that 52% of our buyers are coming in from out of town. And the reach that Sotheby's provides us, Sotheby's International Realty, is beyond measure. Our website, for example, sothebysrealty.com, receives 2 times more visits than the next real estate website. We have press mentions. We are #1 profiled real estate company in the press. And even our YouTube channel, we have almost 300% more views on our YouTube channel than any other real estate YouTube channel. So the importance that we've always told our sellers is that the best way for you to get the highest possible price for your property is to fully expose it. And that is locally, nationally, and internationally. And we can truly do that better than anybody in town.
Lots of exposure, to say the least.
Yes.
Also, before we go any further, Robin, let's tell people you have brick and mortar locations around the city. Bring us up to date on that.
Yes, so we have 6 locations. We have one in the Woodlands that is soon going to be moving to the Market Street. We have Cypress in Town Center. We've got Memorial, and then we have our headquarters in the Amagi building here in Central in the Galleria area. And then we have our Kingwood office as well as our Bay Area office. So we've got great geographical footprint so that we can help with all the real estate needs in the greater city of Houston.
And this is a big question. Maybe we have heard the answer before, but the state of the marketplace, has it ever been like this in the history in the last 100 years? What's it like? How would you describe it?
No, it really has. Real estate is cyclical, and we're definitely at a high. The market is moving very fast, but what's really important for buyers and sellers to understand is that inventory is coming on. New properties are hitting the market every day. The headlines would like to make you think that there is not a lot of inventory to choose from. There is. Inventory is coming on at a very great rate. The difference is that the properties are pending much faster than normal. So, for example, we had 464 new listings just in the last 30 days. 243 of those properties went pending in the same 30 days. Typically, we're at about 30% of our properties pending in the first 30 days. This would be 52%. So more than half of our new listings went pending in the first 30 days. And that is where the activity is that properties are just moving much faster. So it's important for the buyers and sellers to make sure that they are prepared and have their ducks in a row. And even more important, that they are working with a knowledgeable and trusted real estate agent on their side.
Say those 2 parts again, because it is so important. Be prepared and
work with a knowledgeable, trusted real estate agent.
And you know a place like that, Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty. You have so many top agents in their field. Brag a little bit about the team, because some of the people, if not all, are legendary that are a part of your company.
Absolutely. We are so fortunate, again, from what Martha built starting in 1981. Our longevity with our agents as well as our staff is over 10 years. The production that our agents do, they are growing on a yearly plan, a 3-year plan, and a 5-year plan. So our agents are not complacent. They're all about self-growth. They're always about wanting to be top of the technology, understanding the contracts, and providing the highest level of representation to our clients.
Give us an idea, as far as we see a lot of out-of-state license plates out there today. A lot of people are coming from certainly California, the East Coast, West Coast, and that. Give us an idea of where they're coming from, and then those that are coming from outside of the United States, where are you seeing them?
Absolutely. So really, just to let everybody know, we do have a lot of Houstonians moving around in Houston. Lifestyles have changed, commutes have changed, schools have changed, but a good portion of our buyers are coming in from out of town. East and West Coast for sure. And I think the idea behind it is that Houston offers such affordable housing. We are actually the second most affordable metro in the top 20 of the metro cities. And we have the arts, we have the culture, we have the decent weather year round, we have great schools, we have amazing restaurants. And all these things allow the buyers to come in and find their luxury at any price point, as well as probably 10, 15, 20 different areas of town that they can really enjoy their lifestyle and enjoy what the city has to offer. Internationally, for 2020, about 22% of our business did come from international buyers. And again, a lot of it's coming from the jobs. Houston might not necessarily be a destination for like a vacation, but it is very job driven. And because Houston is not landlocked, we have so many headquarters wanting to be relocated here, which is then bringing in the international business. And it's really great for Houston.
Is there one or several countries that people are coming from in particular, or is it just a blend?
Right now, it's really a great blend. I think over the next couple of years, we could probably look back and see a pattern, but right now it's a really good blend.
We're talking with the president of Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty. I love when you smile like that. It's Robin Connor. That's right. She's taken over the reins here just in the last couple weeks. Give us an idea of some of the things as the year will play out. If you were to make a prediction, or as you're talking to the team and thinking about, hey, here's what's going to happen, or what we speculate that's going to happen 4 months, 5 months down the road, end of the year. What are you thinking?
Well, I really think Houston's going to continue to grow. We have so much to offer. And I think where the agents might have thought for a time period that there were certain adaptations that they were adapting in their business due to COVID, I think they're going to realize that those things are here to stay. Working remotely, possibly showing properties remotely. I mean, we would have never have dreamt of selling property sight unseen, but that is becoming our reality. And using the tools, making sure that they're comfortable with the tools as technology improves, because more and more is going to be done online because we don't necessarily have to be in person. However, I want them to always remember that this business is relationship built. And so it is still very important that whether we're remote or however we're conducting our business, that it is a people business and that we have to have empathy for our clients. And as long as we can be empathetic and we can communicate properly, we will keep the trust high and the drama low. And that is something that we're working really hard with our agents right now, making sure that this process can sometimes be the most emotional transaction and sometimes their highest asset, and that we need to be empathetic to those clients because they are going to be moving around. People are going to be, making changes within their families or their needs, and wanting the agents to be empathetic.
Oh, there's a quote, trust high, drama low. Mm-hmm. That's very important, especially during these times.
Yes.
And it is so charged with all the things that happen in life, like life circumstances and things like that. But also, I think there's a little bit of anxiety that you've addressed at the very beginning of this, as buyers are probably worried, hey, I have to have a job here in Houston, but it's so hard to buy a home.
Right.
So some of those things you're helping people with. But what else can you tell us about if you're advising the buyer out there that has to buy a home here in Houston and it's such a frenzy?
Absolutely. So definitely you want the other third parties that you want to have involved in your process is definitely your lender. And having that pre-approval letter and having those ducks in a row is very important. But I think the idea behind it is that they're going to find their home. They just it might take 2 or 3 or 4 tries before they actually end up in the home that is meant to be theirs. The inventory's there, but right now, because of the buyer demand, you have to kind of know where your threshold of pain is. You kind of have to know where your value is for that home, and you need to give it the good old college try and do your best from the very beginning versus trying to negotiate to that value. Because I think that is where our sellers, we're trying to work with them, that they can leverage and maximize this activity if they have proper pricing. And so then the buyers on their side of it have to understand where the value is for that home. And we can provide comparables, but there's so much intrinsic value that a buyer puts on a home that is beyond the dollar per foot and beyond what the seller might think is the value of the home. And so really just being able to know what's important to you, what are the deal breakers, and having your ducks in a row.
We're hearing so much about the multiple offers. The sellers are getting multiple offers. However, are you seeing buyers making multiple offers on homes?
Absolutely.
That might be my strategy if I were in the market.
Yeah, at the same time, we kind of discourage against making multiple offers at the same time. But buyers right now are putting in probably 2 to 3 offers before they're finally getting the one. And sometimes it's because of trial and error. Sometimes it's maybe because they weren't as aggressive as they should have been in the first place. And then once you lose a couple, then they realize how to be a little bit more aggressive in the process. And that's where the communication between the agent and the client is very important to understand. I used to ask my buyers, if I called you in 60 days and told you that it sold for X, are you going to be disappointed? And you try to start figuring out where that value is to them, where they're willing to let it go or where they're willing to rise up and try to make the best go at it.
And Robin, you've done so well in the real estate profession. Give people an idea. Maybe they can learn at whatever level they are, or even whatever profession, as far as a success tip, idea, or two, something that has served you well these many years. What would you tell people that you have done that's really helped?
I think one of the largest things to success is self-growth and just looking for those opportunities to always grow and empower others to grow and be the best version of themselves. For me, leadership is not about being the best. Leadership is about making others better and helping those be better. And again, going back to the empathy, you have to be empathetic in a business that's surrounded by people and is based on the relationships that you have with those people.
And Robin, before we close this segment, what else would you like people to know about the market or anything else?
I think the market is very healthy. I think you need to have a trusted real estate advisor on your side, and you can find one at sothebysrealty.com that can work in your area. Again, we have the 6 offices, whether it's the Bay Area, Kingwood, Woodland, Cypress, Memorial, Energy Corridor, or in the central area. We have a trusted advisor that can work with you at sothebysrealty.com.
And if they want to reach out to your company, the phone number is
713-520-1981.
And the website again is
sothebysrealty.com.
Thank you so much, Robin Connor, Martha Turner, Sotheby's International Realty President. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Bill.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Let's talk to Alex Navarro. He is a musician, performer, so much more. He has a company called Alex Navarro Music. He's played with the likes of Rod Stewart, Taylor Dane, Rita Wilson.
Forgot about her.
Carly Simon. And here he is. Hey, Alex, welcome to the show.
Bill, thanks for having me, man.
Well, listen, you are a tremendous musician. You're right here in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Connected. Let's tell people, first of all, about your company as events are getting ready to happen here in Houston. Your company is
Yes,
a great
Alex
company.
Navarro Music. So it's a music services company. So obviously, yeah, you need a pianist for a party, a wedding. Of course, we can handle that. But for example, one project I'm doing right now with the developing company that is redeveloping the old post office downtown into post HTX. I'm scoring a short video that they will be using for promotion for television, online, website, etc. And then I have another event coming up in a couple of months for the medical center, one of the medical systems there at the Wortham, for a live event, and I scored a commercial for them during the pandemic. So anything recording, tracking, and also bringing in guest artists from my resources in LA and New York to be a part of their events, that's also an option.
And you have so many credits to you. You're also the president of the Houston Musicians Union.
That is correct.
Very involved with the jazz orchestra here in Houston.
Yes. So the Houston Professional Musicians Association, it's the local branch of the American Federation of Musicians. So I deal with the contracts. Actually, right now we're in renegotiations with TUTS, with the ballet, the symphony. All of our major orchestras have contracts with the American Federation of Musicians and with our local here.
Give people an idea. As we think about entertainment and we hear about all the celebrities and the great artists, music is so exciting. But nonetheless, it's such an exciting thing. Houston is a great place for music. Why is it that you chose Houston when you've been in Los Angeles? You have a home out there in New York City.
That's a good question. That's a question I get asked a lot when I go back to New York or LA to visit. First of all, I'm a Houston native. I grew up here, grew up in Southwest Houston. I love Houston. I have a deep care for the city. I left after high school and pursued my career in LA and New York and moved back just recently. Houston is, as Robin was mentioning, it's such a large city, but yet so affordable. I mean, my cost of living, I think, is slashed to a third of what I was spending in New York in Manhattan. And second to that, Houstonians really appreciate and support the arts and have the resources to support the arts, whether it's going to a piano bar or hearing a cover band or going to Jones Hall. And one message, if I can communicate with my Musicians Union hat, is as we're opening up, please support your local musicians. Go back to the symphony. Go, hear a cover band, salsa band, the piano bar, whatever does it for you musically. Go out and support your musicians as we're coming back to work.
There's no doubt about that. In addition, one of the things that happens here, maybe it does in L.A. and New York, but as we have lots of very expensive real estate, a lot of the people that own the higher dollar homes also love to have parties, and they're no stranger to bringing in top entertainment
Absolutely.
at these parties that happen in the yard, in their large rooms, and things like that. So that happens all the time here in Houston.
It does happen all the time. I've played a number of events since being back in River Oaks and Memorial, and I don't know how other musicians are, but it's beautiful to see these gorgeous homes. But after having been in Carly's home in Martha's Vineyard, or hanging with Rita in the Hamptons, these homes or the guests that they have don't faze me, and it's just like, oh, this is nice. So it is a treat being in those homes. When I'm working, I'm there to work and just stay focused on that, I guess.
Exactly. Well, one of the things, as far as and when you mentioned Rita, we'll mention Rita Wilson. You've
Sure.
done some benefits at the Carlisle Hotel in New York City.
Correct.
And Rita Wilson, people know her as an actress, also
Yes.
a singer, but she's married to Tom Hanks, too.
Yes. And so we have a gig that we do every year. Obviously, last year was canceled, where we do about a month-long residency at the Carlisle Hotel. And she, if you don't know, she's actually a breast cancer survivor. And so we would do a lot of events in support of breast cancer. And obviously with the connections, the phone book that she and Tom share, there were no shortage of celebrities and A-list people. And one show we had Billie Jean King, and so obviously a tennis legend, but the platform, she brings, or other celebrities like that. It's nice to have the ear of those people to further your message.
One of the things that dawns on me, too, as you're a performer, you're out there and you're also playing with people that are notable. So there's maybe pressure. And what you said earlier about you're there to work, you're obviously focused. I wanted to see if maybe we can pass on a tip to those that are, when we perform, whether it's being an actor, musician, or let's say we're a real estate agent and we're giving a listing presentation for a home, whether it's $300,000 or $3 million. What are some of the things that where you stay focused when you are in that moment of performance? Because we can get nervous when we're giving a big presentation. You could get nervous. Maybe you don't when you're playing in front of Paul McCartney and some of these other greats at this event at the Carlisle. How do you stay focused to get that job done, where you get it done and you put the nerves aside?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For me, over the years, being on the road, different artists, or being in a recording session and seeing the light turn on, I think it's a routine that I've built when I'm doing a show or an event. I work backwards of what I know I need to do to be ready to go. Whether that's some time alone, some quiet time, obviously practice, preparation. But I really liked some of the key notes that Robin mentioned. I even jotted them down here: empathy, people, business, because those are two words that definitely apply to my business. I always try to connect with the person. I love what's the famous Dale Carnegie book, and just trying to connect with the person and seeing the similarities. This is not the name drop. I did an event with Engelbert, but the guest speaker, it was a festival with a number of artists, but the guest speaker was the Dalai Lama. And so before the show, the Dalai Lama is speaking, and his main point was finding the commonalities. And we live in a culture, and now more so maybe than ever, of we try to find things that separate us or that divide us. And I think whether I'm in a home in River Oaks, like, okay, what do we have in common? Okay, we both appreciate music. We're both Houstonians. We both had a challenging 2020. And so finding that connector, that equalizer, and then you don't feel that necessarily that fear of like, oh, okay, we're just both human beings. And I think also with age, you definitely gain a confidence and you realize, I'm not the only one who maybe feels an insecurity or doesn't know everything. You know.
What about here's a good point as far as recovering from mistakes. Now I will say you and I play together at Second Baptist Church. You play the piano, I play the Hammond B3 organ, and I'm excited to hear what you do. It inspires me. But let's say in the course of a performance, whether it's there or anywhere else, you make a mistake. How do you recover along the way? How do you recover from that mistake where you just keep going and smooth it over? What's your thought
you
process?
said it right there. Keep going, and just being able to let it go. And that's easier said than done because we just want to analyze it. And in the middle of a performance, you start thinking about it and you're going to continue knocking down the dominoes and making more mistakes. So letting it go and getting back to your place of focus. Also not displaying it. Because oftentimes
you got to play it cool.
Oftentimes people don't know that you've made a mistake until you broadcast it. So that's always helped me.
I think that's a good point. By the way, over there at Second Baptist at Woodway, under the musical direction of Rodney Brooks and John Stanley, those guys are awesome.
I love working with those two guys. Rodney just came on board a couple months ago, but what I love about him is his intensity,
the energy.
He is just go all the time. And so the way I've worked with artists like that, and that personally drives me because then if this person is going, full steam, what's my excuse? I have to match that.
All that stuff is contagious, whether it's real estate or anything else. Just like as Robin's talking about the team, it all happens when they're together, when they're on the right track. You can feel the energy. Energy is so important. Give us an idea as far as what should people, as far as your piano playing. I love the solo piano work. Where can people see you, whether you're playing by yourself or a duo around town?
I have two really great solo gigs here, resident gigs here in Houston. I play at Turner's Restaurant, one of Benjamin Berg's restaurants here in Uptown on Post Oak, just downstairs from Annie's. And I'm there Tuesday nights and Friday nights, sometimes Saturday nights with a vocalist. I'm also one of the resident pianists at the Lyric Tower that's downtown in the Theater District on the corner of Prairie and Louisiana, right next door to the Wortham. And that is a great gig because the building, it's mainly law firms, but it's a marble floor with a 9-foot concert grand Steinway piano midday as people who work in the building, or sometimes, when the theaters were open, musicians or people hanging out, coming out midday. So I'm there during the week.
And what was it about the piano that is the instrument that you chose to focus on? And I'm assuming that's what you're focusing on. Going
back to church, growing up in Houston, we were my family and I were going to this little church in Sugar Land, and I already liked music from music I was learning in elementary music class, but then I saw the pianist at our church. It was a little small church of like 100 people or so, and seeing what she was doing, hearing and seeing what she was doing, like, wow, I want to do that. And I started taking lessons from her when I was about 7.
In fact, just a few years ago, I had 2 people in the real estate world. As they were retiring, they called me up because they said, I'm going to start taking piano lessons. What kind of piano should I buy and where should I get lessons and things like that? There's something about the piano and the keyboard instruments that I think are just, if you're a young person, old person, whatever, all I could say is I highly recommend the keyboard as a great instrument to play.
Absolutely, yeah. For children, it's such a great development as a person as they grow, just like, doing a sport on the side. Doesn't mean like they're going to play Carnegie Hall or play professional sports, but it's a great vehicle for young children, for sure.
Indeed. We're talking with Alex Navarro here in Houston, Texas. Tremendous musician, Alex Navarro Music. Alex, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing or anything else?
Yeah, just my business, Alex Navarro Music. The tagline I like to preach is we provide custom solutions for creative projects, whatever your creative projects are, and whatever your company is. And then also as the president of Houston Professional Musicians Association, again, please continue to support your Houston musicians here in Houston.
That's right. And by the way, I didn't say this, but you've been on the Today Show, the Tonight Show, the Late Show, Regis, Ellen, the American Music Awards.
Now your show.
And now our show. So good luck on the career there, Alex, by the way. Let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
Yes, please visit my website, alexnavarromusic.com, and there's a form for your and my phone number Sure. 714-267-3764. My email, alexnavarromusic@gmail. And of course, on social media, please add me, Alex Navarro Music on Instagram, Alex Navarro Music on Facebook.
And the phone number again is?
714, sorry for the Orange County, California area code, 714-267-3764.
Thank you so much, Alex Navarro.
Thank you, Bill.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
And now I've called him the King of Kingwood, but his reach goes so far beyond. He is Ron Holley, RHH Developments. Hey, Ron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. How are you doing today?
Well, we're doing great here. You're hearing the guests. As far as what you do, I think it's fascinating. I said we have the top guns. There are other developers, but I don't know a developer that approaches things in as many places the way you do. And we're going to also get a tip of success from you as well. But let's tell people your company, first of all, is RHH Developments.
Yes, RRH Development. I've been in business. I actually started in architectural realm in 1979 and then started my development company in December of 1992. And I started developing gated communities, Deer Ridge Estates, Kings Lake Estates, Kings Harbor, just to name a few up in the Kingwood area. I've also developed large lot development on the Big Island of Hawaii, and I'm currently working on property in Wyoming as well as Virginia. And I have a new gated community within Kingwood that is about to start at the entrance of Kingwood. I'll be developing half-acre, three-quarter-acre lots, one-acre lots, and that will be a gated community. I've developed 5 gated communities in the area. 3 of those are 24-hour guard-gated communities.
Ron, how do you do it? And when do I think I asked you this before. At what point do you stop? I mean, any one of those 1 projects or 2 can be a career.
Yes.
But what is it about? And that's fascinating to see that you keep reaching different areas and expanding your business. What is it that keeps you going?
Well, one reason that I spread out to different states in the late 80s when I had my architectural business had come to a halt with the oil crisis. So I started doing work in other areas and ended up doing work in St. Louis and a couple of other states. And then Connors Publishing discovered me, and I started having my work published in the 80s in magazines throughout the country. And I would get calls from all over the country wanting custom homes design. And I would travel around the country, and I've had homes that have been built in other countries. I've designed homes as large as 50,000 square feet. I did a home for Debbie Reynolds in California. So my start was in the home design architectural business. And then from there, I saw a lot of my clients were in the development business, and I felt like, this is something that I could do. I've got the architectural background, and so I started with my first development in Kingwood in 92 called Deer Ridge Estates, a gated community with 1-acre lots, and the homes in there started from about just under $1 million to over $5 million.
And I know people right now are wanting to buy some of your work. So what do you have happening that people can buy soon? Is it the Kingwood? What do you call the new one?
Kingwood, I'm still working on the name. I'm at the front of Kingwood. It's 130 acres total. And my half-acre lots will start at $279, three-quarter-acre lots at $340, and 1-acre lots at $379. And all of these lots are above the 500-year floodplain. They did not flood during Harvey. And I'm less than a quarter of a mile to 59, and only about 22 miles from to downtown Houston.
At what stage of development is that area right now?
I'm in the finalizing the plans now. So planning on having lots on the ground first quarter of next year now.
By the way, we want to thank Justin Ramirez, our good business development officer at Stewart Title, and your buddy for bringing you on the show today.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Justin.
He's awesome, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Too bad he couldn't be here. We miss him.
I'll see you Friday, Justin, for lunch.
So in the meantime, what other projects do you have, the next closest one to the Kingwood?
I have lots available in Texas National. I have 60 lots that are available in the Texas National area.
Where's
and
that?
That's near Willis, near Lake Conroe, just a few miles from Lake Conroe. It's not too far from the Woodlands new development off of 830. And then on Lake Livingston, I have an existing development with 70 lots, quarter to half acre lots, and I have those lots available to sell. And I'm working on a development adjacent to Trinity Plantation, 236 acres. I have over a mile of lake frontage in that area. And then also just south of there in Waterwood, I have another development that adjacent to Waterwood. I'm doing waterfront development. And on the east side of the lake, I'm doing a development starting with 5 acre lots. And the gravel road, the initial roads are in, and I'll probably kick that off, start selling those within the next 30 days. 5 acre lots.
Well,
and that will be gated.
You have all this land, all this property. I'm just imagining what it's like when the tax bills roll in every year.
It's horrible.
But the other thing I'm imagining is, I don't know that anyone saw the boom in real estate, but all this property that's part of your portfolio, you must have had some kind of vision to buy it then, was the right time. It is astounding because it has to have gone up, I don't know how many fold.
It has. It's been the best thing, buying early and just holding the property. And now the timing is perfect for selling, and it's some fantastic property. I also have a 35 acres that are platted and ready to sell in Wyoming, near Cody, Wyoming, between Meeteetse and Cody. So I have 35 acre lots, and I'll start sales on that this year, starting at $199 for 35 acres.
There you go. I may be in line for that one. I'm just saying, when I did research you got me interested in Wyoming back in June of last year, and when I looked into that, people come to Texas because it's so tax friendly.
Right.
People go to Wyoming because it's even more tax-friendly, low property taxes. It's astounding. Give us a word on Wyoming in case someone's not aware of that.
The property taxes are just around 1% or less. The sales tax is 4%. And Cody is adjacent to Montana, so if you don't want to pay sales tax, you just drive over to Billings.
Go to the Costco in Billings.
Go to Costco or wherever, and there's zero tax.
It is one of the most tax-friendly places in the United States, if not the most.
It really is. And, of course, there's no state income tax like Texas, but, of course, Texas has higher property taxes. And so Wyoming is a great place to retire.
And you go there frequently. You've got a ranch or two up there, right?
Yes. I have a ranch property there and love to hunt and fish, and I've been going out there for years, since 2006.
And talking about unspoiled beauty, where the mountains are as they were at the beginning of time. It's inspiring. It's America. It's a postcard of America when you look at those mountains, Ron.
The development that I'm talking about with the 35 acre lots, on the one side of the ranch property, you have unobstructed views. I mean, at night you'll see zero light pollution. I mean, there's not many places in America that you can go and have that much privacy. I mean, it's just amazing. And the views from this mountaintop, it's around 6,000 foot average elevation, are just, it's in the middle of the Bighorn Basin. And of course, Cody, and you've got Cody Airport there, which Delta and United fly into. So Cody is a great place. Wyoming is a fantastic state.
And is property available right now from you there?
Yes, sir, it is. Absolutely.
All right, there you go. You're going to get some phone calls. Give us a quick word. You know I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm from the eastern Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg area. However, you bought a country club golf course near Pittsburgh?
Yes.
How's that going?
Yes, it's going well. It's two 18-hole golf course called Chestnut Ridge and Tom's Run, and closed on that last year. So it's about 400 acres, going to do some development of lots around the golf course. But it was an auction and just too good to pass. So my partner and I closed on that last year.
And many people forget about Pennsylvania. I think it's a beautiful state. You have the mountains. It's just a beautiful state. 4 seasons.
It is. And this property is only a little over an hour outside of Pittsburgh, so you can fly into Pittsburgh, or you can fly into Latrobe Airport. The golf course is adjacent to Blairsville. So it's beautiful, beautiful country.
Well, many people may know Latrobe, Pennsylvania. That's the home of Rolling Rock Beer, and
That's
it's been
right.
there a long time.
Now, years ago, I was at the Duquesne Club in Pittsburgh, and I met an advertiser, and we were speaking. He was probably in his 80s at that time, and he said his claim to fame was naming that beer, Rolling Rock.
Oh, he named it.
Yes.
There you go. The mountain spring waters of Old Latrobe, I think, is on the bottle. By the way,
Yes.
Tell a quick word about Hawaii. What's going on over there?
I did a development there years ago. I have a beautiful 3-acre lot, oceanfront. You're able to build your house within 40 feet of the edge of the ocean, and I'm asking $1 million for this. It's my last lot
That's
up
all?
there. That's it.
Robin, yeah, there we go. We got connections in this room, Ron. It's going to be incredible.
That's right, Robin.
So, what else do you want people to know about, Ron?
I've got a lot of developments, a lot of lots that are available. If I can help you in any way, or if you have acreage property that you would like to sell, I'm always looking for a deal. And
Well,
I'm open to location.
As far as real estate goes, this is something that you recognized years ago that you're going to make your living, and how did you grow with this?
Something I didn't finish my story earlier about in the 80s when things were so bad here. So in the real estate, when I got into real estate in 92, I said, I'm not going to keep all my eggs in Houston, Texas. I want to spread out. So therefore, I'm in Virginia, Wyoming. I've been in Hawaii developing, and so I've kind of spread it out in case I just didn't want to have that same
That's right.
situation that we had in the late 80s. So and that's helped.
That's worked out for you.
Yes, it has.
Okay, what about Virginia? What part of Virginia are you at?
Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, it's beautiful there, too.
I have a little over 2,000 acres, and I've developed some 20-acre lots that will start at $100,000. And it's just a few miles. It's between Christiansburg, where Virginia Tech is, and Roanoke. And the property is directly off of Interstate 81. Great location, beautiful views,
That's
beautiful
incredible.
property, heavily wooded.
Before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing, and if they want to reach out to you for one of these properties?
Please give me a call at 281-812-2700 or 713-409-1180. 713-409-1180.
And what's your website, Ron?
Each property has a different website, so
Just use the phone numbers.
yes.
Or just look up Ron Holley like I did on Google.
Yes.
Also, give us an idea as far as if you were to tell someone, a young person going to school for business, and let's say they were thinking about real estate, what advice would you give someone in what you do?
I think it's a great area to go into, and a lot of wealth has been made through real estate. So real estate's always a great avenue, a great business to go into.
And based on what you know and what you're doing, how do you see things winding up in the year? What's your guess? How would you speculate?
I think they're going to continue strong through the year, and we'll see what next year holds.
And Ron, once again, your phone number, Ron Holley Developments.
713-409-1180. 713-409-1180. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. By the way, you're no stranger to TV. You were on Dr. Phil not that long ago. Ron Holley.
That's right, last September.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risk. Once again, here he is from Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. John,
Captain, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How about this show?
Fantastic.
Top guns indeed in every profession.
I tell you what, I mean, from helping buying and selling my home to beautiful music to great developments, this has been exciting.
Yeah, well, you want to go heifers on that ocean front in Hawaii? Let's talk about it after the show.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way, but I was, as much as I'm not a big fan of cold weather, I'm kind of digging that idea of Wyoming too.
That is not bad. So, John, insurance, people always wait for this segment. In fact, I call it sometimes the icing on the cake. What have you brought for us today?
Well, today, Bill, we're going to continue our discussion that we started last week on the different elements of understanding that are elements in an errors and emissions policy. So, last week we started that conversation and we discussed the professional services aspect of an errors and emissions policy. We looked at what the defense expenses meant, and then the idea of making sure that you've got coverage for independent contractors. So I wanted to continue that conversation today.
And your company's helping brokers of all sizes around the country.
Absolutely. So we work with a variety of firms, real estate brokers, property management firms, title and attorney agents on the business side, and then on the personal line side, we work with folks on their home, auto, wind, flood.
There you go. So what should they be concerned about when we think about the errors and omission and these things?
Well, the next thing to take a look at would be to see if you have any kind of what would be called pollutants or pollution or mold coverage within your policy. Most policies will exclude or not cover the dispersal or the release or the escape of pollution. What you should have coverage for or could have coverage for is the failure to disclose or advise if there had been an existence of known pollutants. So if you were a real estate broker or a real estate agent and you knew that there had been mold in the home, or if you knew that there had been a pollution issue with the home and you hadn't disclosed it as part of your professional services, then there could be you could be sued for that, and that coverage would provide some of those defense costs. And it's important to have that coverage, especially if you're in a coastal area like Houston. It's nice to have that endorsement or that addition to the errors and emissions policy.
It really is. And I'm starting to wonder, too, I don't think people would do this knowingly, but with the market as brisk as it is, I wonder if people are just speeding through their seller's disclosure or omitting certain things. Just makes me wonder. But you have to have the right protection.
Well, it does, and that's where it's important to work with somebody like Robin and her team that can guide you on the kind of questions that you need to ask. And the same token, having a good insurance partner that you can say, so I'm looking to buy a new home. What are the things that I need to ask to make sure of? So then you can also know that, so make sure that you've got the coverage that you have. Another area that a broker or property management firm, title and attorney agent ought to look at on their is for discrimination. So there is an element of coverage for discrimination. Most of it'll exclude what it covers is if you in the doing of your business, your professional services, if somebody felt like that you didn't provide them the best service possible because of some discriminatory issue, that you would have some coverage for defense costs. So it's not going to cover you if they said you didn't follow certain statutes, but what it will cover you for is if they felt like that you discriminated against them for a certain reason. So you're an Aggie, so I'm not going to give you the service that you wanted to have, or you're left-handed.
Discrimination, right?
Discrimination.
There. Yeah.
So
I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
You're an Aggie.
I'm the Aggie. You're left-handed.
That is
so
correct.
Together,
yeah.
we're a tough
Yeah.
minority. Yes,
There
we're
you
going
go.
to sue. But it's
but the point is, you use the word. It's if they feel like it, and that's not hard facts. It's how people feel, and that's where you need protection, because it's hard to protect against someone saying, "Well, I felt that way."
Absolutely, because you're still going to have defense costs, even if it's a frivolous claim. There's still going to be defense costs, and can your firm afford to cover those costs on your own, solely on your own? The other thing to look at from a discrimination perspective is, are there damages covered? Some policies will include coverage for damages, some will not. So that's just a good question to ask your insurance agent, or to take a look at your policy yourself to see.
And we say it every week. It's very simple. The insurance policies, there's a language of insurance that we don't deal with every day. Most people, unless you're in the insurance profession. However, that's why Stewart Insurance is there for you. You can ask these questions and also find out about the questions that we don't know to ask that your people help us with all the time.
Absolutely. It's all about intent. And each policy has its own intent. And so, and each individual or each firm has their own needs. So it's a matter of understanding what that intent is that a certain company provides in their policy, and combining that with what the needs are for, your client, and combining those two together. And that's what ultimately becomes somebody being properly insured.
There you go. If someone wants to reach out to you, John, what should they do?
They should give us a call at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827.
Let's say you're on a ranch in Wyoming and you want to make the call.
I would call 866-798-2827. And if I was listening to the beautiful sounds of Alex at the Carlisle Hotel in New York City, I would call 866-798-2827. Or if I'm fishing with Ron up in Wyoming, do the same, 866-798-2827.
All over the United States, doing tremendous work. Before we close the segment, John, what else?
Well, if you're an insurance professional that's out there, both experience on commercial lines or personal lines, we're growing, and we're looking for really solid people for our team. So if you'd like to be part of the team, you can call us at 866-798-2827 or shoot us an email at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
Super awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, John Bramlett. And here she is. Before we close out the show, Robin Connor, president of Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty. Robin, before we leave, what else would you like people to know?
Just keep in mind that even in this fast market, it is not about just putting your house on the market. It is about getting the attention that it deserves locally, nationally, and internationally. And Sotheby'sRealty.com can do that for you. And I think we need to plan an event at one of Ron's developments with Alex Music and our agents, and we will find those qualified buyers.
And don't forget to
and
invite
then the title
me.
insurance.
That's right.
Exactly.
We'll be there. And how can people reach out to your company?
Again, 713-520-1981 or Sotheby'sRealty.com.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
once
you.
again, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your new position. Ron Holley, before we close the show, what else would you like people to know about?
I would love for y'all to come out and look at the lots that we have on Lake Livingston and any of our other properties. So please give me a call, 713-409-1180. And then, of course, our latest development in Kingwood.
It won't be long before we say you have developments in every state.
No, I would love that. Absolutely.
You're on your way. The phone number again is?
713-409-1180. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much. Here he is, Alex Navarro Music. Alex Navarro is back. Hey, Alex. Before we close out, what else?
I just want to remind Houstonians that you have here in my business a company that can provide your custom solutions for your creative projects, not just live music, but recording, scoring, or procuring artists from New York and LA for your event or for whatever you're hosting. And so I'm specifically targeting non-music industry companies like the ones present here today. So please reach out to me, alexnavarromusic.com. 714-267-3764. Again, that's 714-267-3764.
Just a quick word. Rod Stewart. You did something with Rod Stewart as well. I hear he's a regular listener on the show. I don't have that. I don't have it verified. But
well, yeah, I played and arranged on one of his. He did a series of 5 standards albums, the Great American Songbook. I played on 2 of those volumes. The last one being Grammy nominated. We lost to Tony Bennett, but that's a fair loss.
He's pretty good too. Yeah, no doubt about it. That is awesome. And Queen Latifah. I loved your work on the B3 there.
I toured with Queen Latifah, and we did a number of TV shows, the American Music Awards. That was a great experience.
Super awesome. Alex Navarro, thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Like I said at the beginning of the show, Top Guns on this show, and go to stewart.com/radio. You can see and hear all the shows, stewart.com/radio. Thank you all for listening, and thanks to all our guests. Thank you, John Bramlett, and we'll see you next week. Hey everybody, Bill Nampick, your host for Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for listening to the show today. We want to remind you we would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction, whether it's residential or commercial. Simply go to stewart.com anywhere here in the Houston area or even beyond. Stewart.com. Thanks for listening.